Hey, what is up, you guys? It's Silver Fang, and today I'm back with another video. So today we're gonna be finishing up the Gilgamesh versus the world video, because I think they're gonna talk about a few characters at the same time. So we might finish it off here, we might not, but I think we can get it done. So without further ado, it's been a minute, man. This is the last part. Cover all those servants. Is crazy. So let's freaking go. Let's jump into the video. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and with that being said, let's jump into the video. Let's go.
Interesting one, and I'll just label it underneath because you guys labeled it underneath this. I'll label it underneath anyone with the quote-unquote Pioneer of the Stars skill.
Which at this point it contains Da Vinci, Tesla,
Pioneer
Drake,
of
and
the
Napoleon,
Stars?
and Napoleon also has a variant too. He's got like Innocent Monster plus Pioneer of the Stars, but it's really interesting. It is described as a unique skill given to heroes that became turning points in human history. All difficult voyages and challenges which are considered impossible turn into events that can be realized.
Okay.
Thus, any of them can have the ability to beat Gil, especially if it is impossible. Just fundamentally, that is the ability of Pioneer of the Stars. Tesla with System Coronos EX and Da Vinci with Uma Universalis EX.
Hold up.
Impossible. Considered impossible turn into very interesting. It is described as a unique skill given to heroes that became turning points in human history. All difficult voyages and challenges which are considered impossible turn into events that can be realized.
Okay.
Thus, any of them can have the ability to beat Gil, especially if it is impossible.
Wow.
Just fundamentally, that is the ability of Pioneer.
That's kind of crazy. Huh. Something that is considered impossible can suddenly become possible. Fate has some skills that are OP as hell, man. Honestly, like this will be a good example of it. Like anything that is considered impossible, for them it becomes possible. Like for example, defeating freaking Gilgamesh, which is not impossible. So does it really apply? It's not impossible to defeat Gilgamesh. So
The stars.
Shiro
Tesla
did
with
it.
System Coronos EX and Da Vinci
I know you
with
guys
Uma
hate
Universalis
that.
EX probably have the best bet, because the way System Coronos works is like this reinventing the mythology of lightning, and then what Uma Universalis is actually supposed to do is it's an attack reflector type Noble Phantasm. It understands the composition of the enemy Noble Phantasm and counters it. And I don't know if Da Vinci has the mojo to throw back an Enema Elish Blast, but the numbers at least are in the right ballpark. Pioneer of the Stars means that it could be possible. No matter what, it is always a possible thing that could happen.
Well,
Okay.
Would it actually
I'm
happen?
gonna say this though, going from a 0% to 1% still means it's still very fucking unlikely.
That's
True.
Because as I see, because I said we deal with this with gotcha every day. Just because something is not a 0%, which going from impossible to possible, that's all it could be, is literally going from 0%
True.
to 1% chance. So yes, you might be able to pull something out of your ass in the most ridiculous fashion, but it's
Meaning?
still highly unlikely.
Meaning with all their skills, if it's impossible for them to do it, they'll win probably one time out of 100 fights. It's still possible. It's a 1% chance.
Honestly, why we didn't, I didn't like break down serious stats on any of these characters or anything, because I fundamentally don't know if necessarily they have the tools that would actually beat Gil. It's just that by the nature of Pioneer of the Stars, fundamentally, they always have a chance.
It's a very shonen.
I mean, with
anime skill.
Gil's cockiness, everyone
Like,
always
honestly,
has
like,
a
if
chance.
they came like super close to beating Gil, like on their own abilities, Pioneers of the Stars might, give them the extra oomph to push it. But they literally would have to do 99% of the grunt work.
And honestly, like I said, that's why I think that Tesla and Da Vinci would probably do best. Like, okay, Drake's got a lot of projectiles. She could probably match Kate of Babylon that way, but also her power is like limited by how much money she has. Still.
Okay.
A cannon blast is anti-divine. It's still just like a cannon blast. Is that anti-divine enough to actually hit Gil with all his many projectiles.
Yeah. As I
We're
said,
not sure.
so
There's
I love the
So,
design
yeah,
for
yeah,
this
no
guy.
unknowns here.
If one of these servants can go toe to toe with Gil and fight him to a stalemate, Pioneers of the Star would be what would be given the edge to beat him. That's how I feel about this personally. Boys, what do you think?
Actually, I completely agree with that statement. It just
I mean, because the skills in Fate are always so vague, you know? So it's like, because if it's described, and I haven't read it personally, but if it's described as they say that it is described, then I could have like another interpretation for it, which is like, okay, if something is impossible for them, it becomes possible. Okay, but if you have even a 1% chance, which is pretty much what Gil gives you more with his cockiness. You probably, like, everybody probably has at least like a 10 to 15% chance of beating him. Most servants. Just if Gil gets cocky and lets his guard down, most servants could like have a chance of beating him. So that means like it's no longer impossible. So does Pioneer of the Stars just gets nullified, or do they get a boost in everything that they do? Meaning like in every fight they get a boost, increasing their chance of winning. Is that how the skill works, or is it if you have a 0% chance, now it becomes 1%? And if we're going that route, then if you have already a chance of beating Gil, then the skill probably will get nullified. I mean, it won't have any effect because it's not impossible anymore. It's definitely possible. It's definitely within the realms of possibility. It's like something that it will be considered impossible. I would say it'll be something like for example, one of these guys defeating something like the White Titan per se, or a Lost Bell Servants, or a Lost Bell King by themselves, something along those lines, something like that's really impossible. That's where I think the skill will kick in. It's like, okay, now it's not impossible, you have like 1% chance. If we're going that route, it could be interpreted that way, because that's the flaw with Fate. Like, the skills are really vague. And then shit happens in like the for example, the anime's adaptations, the visual novels, that would like completely contradict some skills that some servants have. So it's like the skills in Fate, they're really vague. Some of them are really specific, but some of them are extremely vague. So yeah,
it's a matter of can any of them do it. And I completely agree that, like, if you guys didn't say it, then your notes definitely did, that Tesla and Da Vinci definitely have the best chance, I think, of trying to make it to this point. Not saying Drake and Napoleon, it would be impossible for them, but Tesla in particular, but Da Vinci also. Da Vinci could pull something out of her butt to make it a stalemate, I'm sure.
Da Vinci, has that Renaissance man power, the knowledge of everything.
Right.
There'd be some fun tricks and flips in there, and also Da Vinci is a caster, and as we've established, Gil has fundamentally very low magic resistance.
true.
It's some fun magecraft attacks, or just give him the old Leonardo punch, and Gil would be like, conversation.
So yeah, it's really up in the air, but I definitely like the comparison of it basically being a shonen power. In fact, that's pretty much how I would imagine any...
It's crazy how it's like every intellectual figure that Fate employs, like somebody that's like known for their intellect, is always a caster. Like, for example, if they were to like make a servant like Albert Einstein, he'll probably be a caster. Like how they did with Mozart. Like he's a caster. Like everybody that's known for their intellect is always a freaking caster.
One of these fights to go down. It'd pretty much just be like a shonen battle. Like Gilgamesh is like, haha, there's no way you can win. All you can do is match me. And they're like, oh yeah, bitch.
Scream for 5 minutes.
You've been trained to defeat me at 100%, then I will just have to go even more beyond 100%.
This is to go even further beyond. Oh my god.
Tesla would do that. Tesla would go Super Tesla 3.
Super Tesla 3.
Lightning!
Yo, these guys are freaking clowns, bro. These guys are clowns.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Super
God,
Tesla
I
3.
can totally see fucking Super Saiyan 3 Tesla. Oh my god.
And with
Oh,
that
shit,
note,
that's
I
gonna be
think
awesome.
we're gonna cease our list of contenders here. These are all the people we honestly felt would probably at least give Gil a fair shake. At the very standard, put him in a stalemate. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Who have serious chances.
But for funsies, and because there are a lot of servants in Fate, we couldn't go without ending this on a series of honorable mentions. Do you guys think you could go through your opinions on these in about a minute or less each?
Read my notes that I wrote on each of these honorable mentions, which pretty just basically sums up my opinion, so yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah, sure. Do whatever you like.
I can keep my comments short, yeah.
Alright,
go.
so honorable mention number
Honorable
one.
mentions.
A Japanese high school kid. I wonder who that could be referring
Freaking
to.
Shiro, right?
Shiro
Yo.
defeats Gil in a literal 1v1 in an actual timeline. It
He
happens.
does.
This is
It does.
canon,
It's
people.
canon, bro.
Limited Blade Works ends. He has helped to reach there, but fundamentally, Unlimited Blade Works is greater than Gate of Babylon because while Gil needs to summon items from his treasury, Unlimited Blade Works already contains
It's already
an infinite
there.
number of swords. Gil actually got to the point where he drew Enema Elish. That would probably be over because Shiro cannot counter that because it is a divine construct. But still,
He didn't make it, therefore Shiro won.
There you go. Didn't make it in
It
time.
was so bad and so humiliating defeat that Gil even admitted Shiro Emiya, of all people, was strong. That's high praise.
From the
in
King
this
of Heroes,
moment,
bro.
you are strong.
This is the classic example of Gil's arrogance literally getting him
Biting
down
him in his
again.
ass, bro.
He literally
For
goes
real.
to draw Aya, he looks and goes, no, I can't, and guess what? Then he loses the fucking arm and he gets no Aya.
True.
Perfect
That's
underdog
exactly
story.
what happened.
But you know who isn't an underdog? Honorable mention number 2, Achilles.
Achilles is a
Okay,
freaking
so
badass. I don't
you might think
care.
we're selling Achilles
Care what
short,
anybody says.
and maybe we are, but to Hero, despite the fact that he has an impressive arsenal, Gil basically has him beat in every step. Weapons, which does include a couple of divine constructs, and the fact that he himself is divine, bypasses Achilles' immortality. Achilles is very highly rated divine, so he's vulnerable to the NP Enkidu if it could catch him, which would lock down his speed. Given how much he's about a fair fight, that might happen. And Enema Elish would defeat Achilles' Cosmos, which is explicitly said to be vulnerable to an anti-world type attack.
Yeah.
And the spear effect he has to make it match is also similar to Reality Marvel. So if Gil can access Aya, he could also probably tear that down. Really, the question is, can Achilles maybe get in there and punch Gil? I don't know, but Achilles' actual tools are best.
Can he taunt Gil into making it a 1v1? Can he taunt Gil into making it like a freaking like a freaking duel? Can he taunt Gil? Cause like if you hit Gilgamesh ego just the right way, then you're like you could pretty much manipulate Gil just a little bit. So if he could word it correctly and taunt Gil into a duel, then Achilles definitely gonna take him out.
Honestly, I like seeing Achilles. Yeah, he put up a really strong fight, but honestly, I think Gate of Babylon would pretty much lock him down.
But you know who hasn't locked down Wait. But you know who? But you know what gate of this is amusing all by itself.
Dang.
But you know what gate of Babylon hasn't locked down? Lancelot, our honorable mention number 3.
We talked about this before a little bit with Raiko, but Lancelot's Eternal Arms Mastery and then Knights of Honor NP are said to be natural counters to Babylon. It is explicitly noted in background materials, that Lancelot can only keep up with Gil because of his Madness enhancement, which unfortunately limits his tactical ability severely.
Okay.
Saber Lancelot would definitely be superior in close combat. He probably can't beat Gil's range.
True.
Lancelot gives him a real fair shake, but ultimately I don't think he's got the tools to clinch it.
As I said, again, a cool fight, but
I mean, Lancelot does have like his normal version. I think he still has the Eternal Arms Mastership, and I think he has a skill, which I forgot the name of it, but it's a skill where he can. I don't think they went deep enough into this. He has a skill. I forgot the name of the skill, but that skill allows him to add a plus into any stats that he such desires. So I think his stat as a regular saber is, I believe, is A or B. I don't remember. Either way, if it's A and he has a plus and he adds a plus to that, he'll have the same agility that Berserker Lancelot had, plus his brains. So maybe, you know, like, and he still has Eternal Arms Mastership as a saber too. So I don't think they went deep enough. I don't know. That's debatable.
Kinda hopeless. But you know who's also hopeless? Our 4th honorable mention, Tamamo no Mai.
Don't know
Specifically,
her.
reaching her origin form when she has 9 tails.
Don't know.
Tamo's noted as an
don't know her
exceptionally
lore.
weak servant, incredibly weak. But her origin form, or otherwise any situation where she goes 9 tails, is incredibly powerful. Basically, it's
Go
herself
9
times 9,
tails.
and is an evil spirit who has the power to beat 100 heroes.
Damn.
She wouldn't become Amaterasu per se, but would have power in excess of Gil alone in his servant container. The caveat to this is that Tamo would never actually want to go to this level. She hates being 9 tails, and outside of extreme circumstances would not do it, and it requires a lot of build-up for her to do so. Practical fight comparison.
yeah, think about
Isn't
Tamo,
Gil an
it says
extreme
here-
circumstance
it says here
though?
that, yeah, but basically for every tail she gained, her power goes up by a factor of 9. With her origin form, she becomes capable of feats like moving faster than light and the reversal of time, and she can even
Damn.
reduce the distance from the Horse Head Nebula and back to the original
It's
galaxy
freaking
to
fast.
0 to instantly cross the distance. So, but again, Tamamo doesn't like her full power because she's actually kind of a good person inside, kinda.
And that's because it's been speculated that if she did go into her origin form, at least in FGO circumstances, she might even be considered beast class. But you get, but guess, oh my god, these segues are hilarious.
Oof.
But you know who else might as well be beast class and is not a very nice person? How about some Nightingale, our 5th honorable mention?
You're talking
Don't
about
know her
Nightingale's a
either.
great person. She just wants to cleanse the world of uncleanness.
She wants to save me to death. Not from death,
So
to
she-
death.
To death.
Nightingale probably lacks the combat ability to defeat Gil solo. She's got like a knife and a gun, and she can hit people. But it should be noted that the strict interpretation of Nightingale played from utilizing any of his noble phantasms for a time, which prevents most of his brokenness. It's this effect, Gil would basically have to sit on his thumbs and go, well, that's a real interesting power you got there, but I don't think she could actually beat him in that time.
I don't know. I mean, she is a berserker. Does she have a Madness Hansen EX?
That is true, she does, yes.
She might bounce him around a little bit. Like I said, I don't know if fundamentally just punching and
I
shooting
can't
him a
say
little would
because
be
I
enough
don't
to
really
finish
know
it.
her that much.
I don't know. Maybe she'll.
I actually-
I've
She
seen her,
can't,
but
because
that's
remember,
pretty much.
all sources of harm are negated in Nightingale Pledge. She can't even shoot her own gun.
She's not harming. She's healing.
That's what I'm talking about, Lucky!
EX.
I'm so glad you understand!
It's a very good rules lawyering there. Honorable mention. You can wiggle some stuff, but
And I'm not even quite sure how to segue into this one. Maybe her philosophy is healing, I don't know. But lastly, can't end without our 6th honorable mention, Miyamoto Musashi.
Ooh, I like her. I like her.
Lost Belt
She's
Musashi,
freaking awesome.
technically, yes, it's described that she comes from what's equivalent to a Lost Belt. She's from an alternate timeline. She appears to be a top-tier servant, but even with recent lore expanding on her, the practical nature of her abilities aren't super clear, and a lot of her abilities are related to swordsmanship specifically. So we know Gil can avoid close combat if he likes. Magic 8-ball answer. Reply hazy, try again later. Her sword slash can cut through fate and karma, and she's got a mystic eye, and she can become void, which makes her like nearly indestructible, but what that actually means, I don't fucking know.
As I
Nobody
haven't
knows.
played Musashi yet. I haven't gotten
It's the
to
same
it.
thing with
Like,
freaking
I really can't make
with
comments on her.
Abigail.
Like,
Like,
personally, when I think of
or
Japanese
I
swords,
try looking up
like,
her skills, like
people,
it's
she is
all
not
so
someone
freaking
comes
vague,
to
bro.
mind, so I'm
None
not
of her
a fan.
skills are listed.
Well,
Like,
she should because
they're
she's got 4
listed,
swords.
but none of them have a
Well, I know, when I think
description.
of Japanese
Like,
swords,
all the
I think-
Lost Belt
I
servers,
think
they
of, Yage,
like they need to like
Jubei.
That's fair.
It's another good comparison. Who's not in
Yeah.
yet. I think his dad is
like
in.
specify.
Yes,
It's another
Munenori
Yagi,
is
but
his
I-
dad, yeah.
Yeah, his dad.
So that's
the
what I
master
think.
of sin.
Like, she's freaking awesome, bro. I use her in FGO as a
So, like, as I said,
as a
like, once we
support,
actually get
and
some more
oh
information
my
on this
god,
issue,
she's
maybe
freaking
Jim Roberts
amazing.
said, like Magic 8-ball. Try hazy. Try again.
You'll get plenty because somebody must really like Musashi because she.
I
keeps
can't
showing
wait to freaking get to
Yeah.
Lost Belt.
She might even be Grand Saber in disguise, who knows? But probably not, because
She's from,
Takeuchi
but
loves
she's from the
Artorias
Lost
so
Belt, right?
much.
I can't, like, honestly, like,
I'm Tori in key visuals, so she's still the app icon. That's got to mean something someday, right?
Someday. She's even got Avalon in the Lost Belt poster.
Did to fix her instinct.
And watch, that's all it ends up being. That's all it amounts to. Alright, well, you know who's become a master of sitting? Me. And probably both of you. I think it's time to wrap up. Any final closing thoughts before
That's
I
it.
end this? And
This is awesome.
hopefully it doesn't end up being 3 hours, because we're really close to 3 hours.
didn't we say we weren't gonna go for 3
I
hours?
mean, after you go
did, I
past
said I
like
didn't
an
wanna do
hour,
3
an hour
hours,
and a
and it ended up being
half, it
about 3
really
hours.
doesn't matter, bro.
Oh, that's what happened.
That's what happened. Guess what? You talk to people who actually kind of know what they're talking about most of the
Well, that's exactly why it's great to have you guys around for a collab like this.
Supposedly we sound good. We hope we sounded a good audience. My final thoughts, to, while standing very far away, yell,
What?
You basically just call Gil a punk bitch.
Oh, yeah. Well, fair
Oh
enough.
my god, yo, this
You
guy.
could just rape his mind with Abigail. That's my favorite choice. Lucky, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, like, honestly, this has been a kind of an eye-opening experience for myself, because as I said, I don't go into these things with a bunch of knowledge. I just see the pieces that I'm given and then make comparisons from that, which is kind of the flow that we went into. Boise would open up, Omega would give the facts, I throw out, like, this is what I think would happen, and we go from there. And I think it was really good. I like this. I would love to do this again, so I think you're going to mention it later, but yeah, give us a whole bunch of suggestions so we have enough thought again.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, guys, if you have anyone in the comment section we haven't covered, if you give us enough suggestions and make a solid enough argument for them, we will definitely consider a sequel. It just has to be more than
That
like
would be
one
awesome.
character we missed, because
That would be
otherwise there's
awesome.
not really much point. And honestly, these guys might as well cover it just on their podcast rather than having us do a 3-hour session again. So,
They could
Hey,
choose,
come
like,
on,
they
yeah.
could have chosen another servant too,
that's
other
true.
than Gil.
In fact, you
like,
should
who
go
could
support
be
these guys
King
over on their
Hazan, for
channel,
example, or
which
something
is
like that.
aptly titled Studio Omega, and yes, it is STUDIO.
King Hazan versus the world.
Don't worry, there's a link in the description.
Or even
Alrighty,
Abigail is
everyone.
freaking.
Thank you for sitting
Abigail's
here
a
with us,
freaking monster,
and
bro.
hopefully we didn't make you too mad.
Abigail
because actually,
versus
I
the
found
world.
this actually a pretty
Yo.
eye-opening experience. Even if somebody thinks we're dead wrong, it did at least open my mind a little bit more.
Like,
to
they're
the
not as
truth that
as
Gil may not
controversial
be
as Gil,
strong
but
as we thought.
I'm
or
pretty
at least
sure
that Nasu wants you to think anyway.
the I'm pretty
So
sure
with that in mind,
like
take care, everyone.
that video would
Like I
do.
said, don't get too angry.
Like if they do like
It's
a King
just a
Hassan
game.
one, I think it'll do pretty good. Wow, guys, I think this was like 12 parts. We're finally got through it. That's crazy, bro. I feel I feel like I've been doing this video for months, bro. That was awesome. That was awesome. Gil versus the world is done. It's been a journey, man. I think it's been like 12, 13 parts. I think this was part 13. It was pretty awesome, man. Wow. Cover all those servants. This has been a long freaking way. With the honorable mentions, the only one I thought was like they went right into the point, like right straight to the point. The only one that I think is debatable, that they said couldn't beat Gil, is Lancelot, but I think that's debatable. But it is what it is. It's me. If you want me to go more in depth as to why I think Lancelot had a good chance of beating Gil, I could do a Lancelot versus Gil video. If you want to see that, Saber Lancelot, by the way. If you want to see that, sure, I could do that. I could definitely do that. So let me know. Let me know in the comment section below if you want to see that. I could definitely make that happen. But I think it's debatable. I think it's definitely debatable. It's not as clear cut as they made it sound. So thank you so much for watching. It's been a long freaking journey. Finally, last part. It was awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Catch you guys in the next one. Ciao.